I know we've only known each other for 4 weeks and 3 days, but to me, it seems like 9 weeks and 5 days. The first day seemed like a week, and the second day seemed like 5 days, and the third day seemed like a week again, and the fourth day seemed like 8 days. But the fifth day, you went to see your mother, and that seemed just like a day. But then you came back, and then later, on the sixth day in the evening when we saw each other, that started seeming like 2 days. So in the evening it seemed like 2 days spilling over into the next day, and that started seeming like 4 days. So at the end of the sixth day, on into the seventh day, it seemed like a total of 5 days. And the sixth day seemed like a week and a half.
A modern day remake of Matthew Vaughn's Lay a Kick, a Coen brothers end up with Timothy Chalamet. A Citizen Kane prequel, a Midnight Cowboy sequel, Alvin and the Chipmunks deserving of the squeak. There's so many new ways to revisit sideways, but a graphic novel is how we choose to update. But we still hold fast, you can't change the past on the Ruined Childhoods podcast.
On our journey up the cinematic alphabet, we covered the 2011 comedy flop, Jack and Jill, the story of two very different twins who learned the true meaning of family following the passing of their mother. And although the movie collected gobs of awards for how bad it is, it did manage to win 2 positive awards. Composer Rupert Gregson Williams won an ASCAP Film and Television Music Award for his score, and Adam Sandler won Favorite Movie Actor at the 25th Annual Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. That year's ceremony also handed out prizes to Kristen Stewart for her performance in Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1, Selena Gomez for Favorite Female Singer and Favorite Television Actress, and Taylor Lautner won for Favorite Butt Kicker, but he was quickly humbled by getting slimed. Other gooey celebs that year were host Will Smith, Favorite Male Singer winner Justin Bieber, and Oscar winner Halle Berry. Former Miss USA runner-up Halle Berry transitioned from modeling to acting in 1992 with a breakthrough role alongside Eddie Murphy in Boomerang, and she would later win a number of awards for her cinematic achievements. She would take home the Oscar for her role in Monsters Ball, a Blockbuster Entertainment Award for her role in Executive Decision, and NAACP Image Awards for Alex Haley's Queen, Introducing Dorothy Dandridge, Swordfish, Die Another Day, and Frankie and Alice. But in 2006, she would take home an award that puts her in an even more exclusive club when she won the Hasty Pudding Woman of the Year Award, celebrating Harvard students who have made a lasting and impressive contribution to the world of entertainment. Since 1951, Harvard's Hasty Pudding Theatrical Society has honored over 70 women with a parade through Harvard Square and a celebratory dinner hosted by the Harvard Crocodillos a cappella group. Hasty Pudding's first Woman of the Year was performer Gertrude Lawrence, who enjoyed a cappella music from Fred Gwynne. This past year, Cynthia Erivo was given the honor bestowed upon Ms. Lawrence and Ms. Berry, and in 1987, Harvard Square passers-by enjoyed a parade celebrating performer Bernadette Peters, star of stage and screen, recording artist, and children's book author. Bernadette Peters started her career like many future stars, appearing in anthology series Craft Theater and Net Playhouse. She would have the chance in 1970 to show off her comedic chops in movies like The Longest Yard, Silent Movie, and This Week's Film. Greetings, Starfighters. This is Ruined Childhoods. My name is John. His name is Dan. We're brothers. We love movies. This is our podcast. And on this episode, we're talking about the 1979 comedy, The Jerk, the story of a poor nincompoop who becomes a rich nincompoop, then loses it all. Dan, can you name the 2 other Carl Reiner movies that we've covered on this podcast?
Summer School
Correct.
is one of them, and give me a moment. Believe it or not, I did not prepare myself for such a question, though it seems perhaps like it. So Summer School and let
me know if you want to hit.
He didn't do Cold Turkey. That
Nope.
was Norman Lear. Right. So Okay, so I'm running through. So we have not done sibling rivalry, Fatal Instinct. We have not done The Man with Two Brains, Dead
Correct.
Men Don't Wear Plaid. I don't think we've done any of the Carl Reiner, Steve. I think that today is our first Carl Reiner, Steve Martin collaboration. And we have not done Oh God. So
Correct.
I'll take a hint. I'll take. How often do I say that? But,
This movie stars a very iconic co-star of this week's movie, Steve Martin. Steve Martin co-starred with the star of this movie.
So the star of this other Carl Reiner movie was also a prominent Steve Martin co-star.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Oh.
And while you're thinking, I want to let our audience know that I am on the very tail end of COVID and my brain is not functioning right now. So that kind of goes with our movie of the week. Somebody whose brain maybe doesn't function properly, but anyway, I take it back to you, Dan. Do you need another hint?
So wait, was Steve Martin in? But Steve Martin wasn't in it.
Steve, this is not a Steve Martin movie.
Okay.
But there is a very classic Steve Martin movie that is him alongside one other major actor.
Wait, you said it's not so it is a Steve Martin movie? No.
No. Okay.
So Carl Reiner directed this other movie.
Carl Reiner directed the other movie that's a Carl Reiner movie that we've covered on this podcast. But the star of this movie also starred in another movie that is not directed by Carl Reiner alongside Steve Martin. It is a very iconic Steve Martin movie.
Did we cover that one?
No.
All right, because we did Bowfinger. So I was like running through some of the Steve Martin stuff we've done.
This is a two co-stars. They probably had equal billing. I mean, one of them's name had to come first, but
so then okay. So it would be a movie starring Steve Martin and somebody else. Diane Keaton. Is it Diane Keaton?
Nope.
No. Okay. Sorry, the ones I'm thinking of some, but we've covered them. So, you said we didn't cover this one.
Correct.
Okay. We're not talking about like Chevy Chase, or
if we did cover this one,
Three Amigos.
We can blame my COVID brain for not remembering that we covered it.
Okay, because I keep thinking of Lily Tomlin. I keep thinking of the cover.
It is
of
not Lily
All
Tomlin.
Of Me. Okay,
it is not All of Me.
I'm like, we did All of Me, and
well, we didn't do All of Me. We talked about All of Me,
didn't we? I want to say. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't have COVID. It would just be my poor memory, but I do have a recollection of specifically watching it for the podcast.
It's likely that you watched it in preparation for a body swap movie.
The body swap, yeah.
But
right.
We didn't cover it.
Okay, all right. But you said it's not Lily Tomlin anyway, so doesn't matter. Steve Martin, Eddie. It's not Eddie Murphy. We talked about Bowfinger. Martin Short.
Nope.
No. Like
no, but like you're closer there
with Martin Short. So it is a Martin Short type that we're thinking of here.
I wouldn't necessarily say a Martin Short type, but it is somebody who is maybe closer.
Rick Moranis.
It is somebody. We're very close there.
A common Steve Martin co-star. Is Rick Moranis, or was Rick, and but so not Rick Moranis, it's not Martin Short, it's not Chevy, John Candy, Summer Rental is
right.
Rental, fuck, oh sorry, Summer School, right?
Summer School and Summer Rental are the two Carl Reiner movies that we've covered so far.
Oh wow, totally forgot,
and also. totally okay that you totally forgot, because I feel like when we even covered Summer Rental, we're just like, it's kind of weird that this is a Carl Reiner movie.
Right. And kind of the same with Summer School.
And very much the same with Summer School as well, yeah.
But anyway, oh, wow. Okay. All right. Fabulous. I by the way, really want to see the documentary that Colin Hanks made about John Candy.
Oh, I know. I haven't seen it. I'd love to.
I love that the idea behind this is that they wanted people to know that John Candy was the guy everyone thought he was.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. And
every story that I've heard about him is just about how amazing he was.
And which, by the way, I mean, like, I think you can kind of say the same for Steve Martin. I feel like that's, I really, tried to think of anything. And, the man's got, he's been such a long career. Like, this was his first starring vehicle as a film, but he was already well known. He was already a household name by this point.
So, have you read his book, Born Standing Up?
I have.
So good.
Yeah.
It's my favorite audiobook I've ever listened to.
Oh, I bet that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't, read it with my eyes. I read it with my ears, and I feel like this one is probably better served with him telling his stories.
And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can certainly imagine, I think I, read it, long ago. And of course, you're familiar with Steve Martin, you kind of, but yeah, the audiobooks, the memoirs where the authors, themselves are reading it. Right. There's something,
especially a performer like Steve Martin.
Yes. Someone with a distinct voice. I think I mentioned some time ago, the Al Pacino memoir.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Well,
John,
and also Steve Martin, who's just an exquisite writer in his own right.
Well, yeah. Yes. I mean, his voice. So Steve Martin wrote what might be my favorite play. And it's a play that I loved it from reading the script. And there was something that drew me to the script. So the name of the play is Picasso at the Le Panagile. And it opened off Broadway on October 22nd, 1995. So
that's your birthday.
Would have been my 18th birthday. So there was kind of something I felt like drawn to it. And I remember buying the script. I think I bought it, from the drama bookshop back in, the mid to late 90s. Really wanted to direct it at our student theater at Rutgers Cabaret Theater, and definitely had a vision for it, though don't know how, don't know that I would have gotten the job done necessarily at that stage in the game, but it's something that is like, I'm still kind of drawn back to it. And but one of the things about that play is no matter who's talking, you hear Steve Martin. His voice is in every character, but in a way that it makes it work. And not always, not across the board. And there are other plays of his that I've seen and that I've kind of been less enthusiastic about, but in Picasso at the Le Panagile, it's Picasso and Einstein meet at this, Parisian cafe one night, and they spend and it's very surreal. Like they're visited by Elvis, and it's like at the end, the stars make this formation, and it's all very much about, kind of the magic of the turn of the century. And this was written in, and premiered in the mid 90s. So it's very, very wonderful. And, to your point that, Steve Martin is, accomplished to say the least writer of in pretty much all genres. He's written musicals,
brilliant,
wonderful, and co-wrote this movie. It comes from his ideas, and of course his stand-up routine, and in Born Standing, like, people should totally check out Born Standing Up, but
absolutely,
you definitely learn, like, Steve Martin grew up there in Southern California.
Okay, well, I will say that, Dan, have you watched the 2-part documentary on Apple TV Plus?
Oh,
Steve?
No, I have not.
Ooh, it's fantastic. So if you don't want to commit to reading or listening to the audiobook for Born Standing Up, watch this 2-parter documentary. It's split up between then and now. Those are the 2 different parts. And even if you just watch the then, it's everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really beautifully put together. And he does a lot of the narration for it himself. And the now very much focuses on his, latter film career and his kind of evolution as an actor and a screenwriter.
Mm-hmm.
His, relationship with his wife, his relationship with Martin Short, his
work wife.
and taking absolutely, very much so. And it's really, really wonderful and beautifully made, and just an exquisite tribute to an absolute legend.
Oh, and one thing that I really wanted to get at, that just, like, it's kind of like, no matter what he does, I'm always interested. And he's always very much defined himself as a performer, and kind of what gave him, and it's what gave him that leverage, because it's kind of like just going into everything. And this is coming out of performing rope tricks at Knott's Berry Farm down the road from Disneyland.
Yeah.
And coming up in the, stand-up circuit, doing, it seemed like in the 70s, there were a lot of people who were doing something that nobody else was doing, but he was, balloon animals and all sorts
He was doing alt comedy when a lot of other stand-ups were doing political stuff. He was just doing, like, how can I be just an outlandish goofball?
Right.
And he's trying to figure out how to stand out from everybody else and be true to himself and act and still succeed. And after a long time of things not hitting, finding Saturday Night Live when it debuts, he's like, oh, there are other people who are just out there to be ridiculous, and I can do things with other people. And then I believe in Born Standing Up, and also in this documentary, Steve, it's like the night after he is on Saturday Night Live, he's selling out, like, stadiums.
Oh, yeah. I mean, talk about the guy who is constantly brought up as one of the greatest cast members ever of Saturday Night Live, who was never formally a cast member.
Never a cast member, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, God, Wild and Crazy Guys alone.
Right. Yeah.
Brilliant and wonderful. And also, like you said, like there's joy in his work, and there's an innocence. It's what has made him also a fantastic dramatic actor, even though that has been less of his focus. I think specifically of the Lawrence Kasdan film Grand Canyon, where he takes on a more dramatic role as a as I think a film director or producer, and he's friends with Kevin Kline's character, because it's a Lawrence Kasdan ensemble,
right? Of course,
and also just to kind of get through the kind of fun facts here before getting into the jerk. So and because this connects to this wait, I'm trying to I'm thinking
I'm
of
the
the
one
alphabet.
with COVID brain.
No, you're the one with COVID brain. So, but okay, actually a connection to our last episode. I'm trying to backwards alphabet.
Killer's
okay?
Kiss?
Yes, Killer's Kiss. So this movie was a favorite of Stanley Kubrick. And
I did not know that. I love
Stanley
that.
Kubrick.
Oh, I take that back. I did.
Okay. Yeah.
COVID brain.
Stanley Kubrick loved this movie. He invited Steve Martin to his house when Steve Martin was on tour in London. He talked to Steve Martin, and this was like, I mean, not long after The Jerk came out, but even then he was still developing Eyes Wide Shut, and he wanted someone like Steve Martin as the lead role, as the Bill.
What a different
Harvard.
movie that would have been.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Steve Martin would have been great.
Oh, no, I do. I think about like Steve Martin when he does play a more dramatic role, and especially, had it happened, I think by the time they made Eyes Wide Shut, perhaps, maybe not. But, remember,
it'd be like Adam Sandler doing Uncut Gems.
Well, yeah. And, but Kubrick apparently like would quote The Jerk on set. I'm thinking of him like directing The Shining and quoting.
It'd be pretty fresh. Yeah.
Right. So, but I mean, even after that, I can see him quoting The Jerk on, he's doing Full Metal Jacket.
I love it.
All you need is that thermos right there. So,
it's too good.
And Carl Reiner, so we've talked about Carl Reiner before.
Twice.
Legend.
At least.
Who I've had the honor of meeting. Not.
Did you?
Yes. So.
Have you told the story?
Probably, but it's been a while since we've done another Reiner movie. So, long story short, my good friend Lynn Marie Rosenberg, host of famous cast words on All Arts, please support public media, public broadcasting, and Lynn. But Lynn called me up or texted me or whatever, and had an extra ticket to go hear Carl Reiner in an interview, and also signing copies of his like novel that he wrote, which was called N. It was just an N repeated at the 92nd Street Y in Manhattan. So of course I went with Lynn and got to hear Carl Reiner tell all these wonderful stories about his decades of legendary work from, the golden age of television through his stuff with Mel Brooks and, the 100-year-old, 1,000-year-old man. And, just at least had the opportunity to shake his hand and get his autograph on a book.
That's delightful.
Yeah. Great memory, and just to say hey, I shook the hand of someone whose work I just greatly admire and respect. Maybe someday I'll get to Steve Martin.
Yeah, and you asked, what was it like working with Mark Harmon?
I did. I was like,
and Wonder Mutt.
Yeah.
So, what was Wonder Mutt like?
Yeah, no, I've always wondered. Like, was Spuds MacKenzie, right? No. Was it?
I
don't. I'll have to go back and listen to that episode. Wasn't that dog like one of the Spuds MacKenzie dogs or something?
No, not at all. Wonder
Mutt
Mutt was like a German Shepherd, and Spuds MacKenzie's a bull terrier. Get with it, Dan.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I've still got COVID.
Spuds MacKenzie. First of all, a female dog, which created a lot of controversy when that came out. I feel like Spuds MacKenzie, finding out that Spuds MacKenzie was a female was kind of like the Dylan Mulvaney of the 80s.
Yep. Ahead of their time.
Yeah, absolutely. But Bud Light, I mean, supporting, gender, I guess differences in gender and different ways of seeing gender. So
fluidity.
So good on them.
Fluidity. In the can and out of the can. So
absolutely. So Spuds MacKenzie, I believe, was only just one dog.
Oh, yeah.
I think her name was like Winnie or something like that. Anyway, this is not a Spuds MacKenzie podcast, although maybe? No?
Wow.
A conversation for another time.
Table that. But...
There's only so many movies. And only one Spuds MacKenzie.
This is true.
So anyway, coming back to Steve Martin, Carl Reiner, and The Jerk. So this is coming off of him having this stand-up career that he is kind of deciding, I feel like there's an end to this, and it's more about him wanting to make the decision on his own to end stand-up, not realizing that he'd essentially be coming back to it much later in life, but as a pair with Martin Short. But he's deciding I want to make this film thing work and gonna give it a go. And at the very, he's the hottest stand-up comic out there, and he just decides, all right, this will be my last show. And
again, someone who
What
defined himself every step of the way.
So brave. Like, can you imagine being the most like famous stand-up comic and then just deciding I'm going to do something different now?
But I mean,
Wild.
but that's also how you achieve success on the level of a Steve Martin, somebody who is still like firing on all cylinders and who like has just endeared himself to generation after generation, has evolved as a performer, has either evolved or just has slowly like just revealed side after side after side, and again seems to be genuinely well liked.
Totally.
So, but that's the thing is like not just anyone can do that. There needs to be like, you have to have a certain amount of ego, but also you have to have that ego in check. You have to know your own worth. You have to, and you have to constantly be seeking to further your mastery of what you do. This is not someone who rests on his laurels.
Not at all. Yeah.
So like tons of respect for the movie. And if I can add just one more
Please.
thing, just looking at also, because this is released by Universal Pictures, who Universal Pictures and comedy in the late 70s, like early 80s, really like there's really this run of like Slapshot, Smokey and the Bandit, Animal House, The Jerk, Blues Brothers. I mean, I know 1941 is kind of a mess, but still it's like you look at that movie, and I watched it again not too long ago. John Candy, Dan Aykroyd. I mean, oh geez, it was like Treat Williams. There's so many other, Tim Matheson, Amy Irving. It's all of these orbits of like this Belushi. And like all of these different orbits kind of coming together, and The Jerk, comes out as part of this like this wave of classic comedies that, and also it's something that can be said certainly for Animal House, probably the most out of the bunch, is looking at how it holds up as a modern viewer. And there are certainly things about The Jerk that I would say in anyone else's hands would not have passed muster. And because of how they are, I mean, this is just my, perspective as a viewer who, just kind of tries to be attuned to that. It kind of felt like, okay, I see why people wouldn't get upset at this.
Well, it's one of those movies that, it doesn't really hold up that well in certain ways, to a broad audience. But I feel like for an audience that would see what it's doing, it kind of gets a little bit of a pass. I wouldn't say that like, I mean, there's the N-word in it. And I'm not saying that, anybody gets a pass for that. No, but if you watch it right contextually, then it's like, I don't know, there's something different about it. And I'm not saying that like in any way it's ever okay to say it, even like no matter what year it is, but or who's saying it in what context it is, but like there's just something different about it.
Well, yeah, and again, like white writers using it,
Totally.
that's it's just not the place. So, but that's also something that's like a really tiny piece. And I think that there are, larger aspects of it, the idea of his family and that representation that, right. If you take a moment and you think, all right, well, what is the purpose of this scene? What is being shown? It's like not troublesome. I can't say it's not offensive. It's I don't know. It could be offensive to somebody. But it's not.
Yeah.
I think it's like the intent is not harmful.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
we can get into it a little bit.
As two white people, I don't know how much more we can really get into it. But
right, but obviously, I mean,
like,
this movie gets because by now, you'd hear about it. If someone was like,
sure.
I do not, it's like, I am not okay with that. And there are plenty of movies from this time that are, again, Animal House, among others, that it's like, no, that wasn't like, that was a messed up choice.
Well, and I think that a big difference is that The Jerk in so many ways is satirical and is trying to get you to think in a different way about, class and what it means to be privileged. I think that there's a lot of this movie that just has to do with privilege and the way that the world treats you when you are white. And as this movie famously begins, it is, and I'll let you get to a synopsis in a second, but like, it's this dopey white character who is the adoptive son of a black family, and not just any black family, but a poor black family, and a very large poor black family. And they let you know really quickly that he is the butt of the joke, and him being white is the butt of the joke, because it's like for his birthday, he's getting like a Twinkie and a tuna fish sandwich, and he's the happiest guy in the world.
Yeah.
And the joke becomes on him, and it's
Totally.
not about the family living in the house that they do or anything else. And he's the one that doesn't have rhythm, and they're the ones that are dancing and having a good time.
Exactly. And it's just one. No, but that was kind of the point that I wanted to get to there, is that he's the butt of the joke, and his
right.
And moreover, the privilege. So
totally.
Shall I synopsize? All right.
Do it.
After discovering on his birthday that he is adopted, white dope Navin Johnson decides to set off on his own to explore what the world has to offer, leaving his black family with honor and a jaded view of the world. During his travels, he befriends a generous gas station owner, finds his special purpose with a stunt show performer, and meets the love of his life, who would only be able to love him back if he had a few bucks to his name. And as luck would have it, a handshake agreement would make him rich overnight. But the higher Navin climbs, the harder he falls. Of course, Steve Martin as Navin Johnson, as Marie, the love of his life, Bernadette Peters, as the generous gas station owner, Harry Hartunian, Jackie Mason. We also have M. Emmett Walsh as somebody who wants to take out a normal, average person right out of the phone book.
So funny. What a great concept.
So funny. And you know who else is in this? Let me get his name here. Okay. Maurice Evans as Hobart, who also played Dr. Zaius in Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Bill Macy as Stan Fox. Isn't that the guy? That's the guy who's the customer. Wait, do I have the wrong guy?
I couldn't
Yes,
put an
he's
okay.
I love this guy. He's the customer. Stan Fox buying gas. David Johnson selling it.
Yes. The OptiGrab guy.
Yeah, the OptiGrab. I love this guy. He totally makes good on this handshake deal to go 50-50 with Naven. And I love the way he talks about it. He's like, I got a trunk full of this shit I gotta sell.
I love it. Yeah, he's great. He immediately is just like on board with Naven and just loves his attitude.
Oh yeah. They check the oil together.
I love it.
It's so funny. Oh, I love that scene. And of course, that scene is the scene that goes right into the Emmett Walsh firing. And John, how can you not think of Freaks and Geeks when you see that scene? He hates these cans.
So I did want to talk about this a little bit because and because you brought it up, we may as well get into it right now. So what's really awesome to think about this movie with, and I feel like Freaks and Geeks is a perfect way to explain the way that this movie was for people at the time who, weren't around then, like me and you. I mean, well, you were around, but, you weren't going to see The Jerk at 2 years old.
No.
Yeah. So in Freaks and Geeks, the Sam, the main, I guess, geek character, he and his friends are talking about how great The Jerk is. They just went to go see The Jerk all these times. And because the movie takes place in 1980. And the girl that Sam likes, who's like a popular girl and not very much like them, she doesn't get it. And like he takes her to see it and he's laughing his ass off and she just doesn't understand it. She doesn't get why this, this young man with gray hair is funny and doesn't understand any of it. And he's just laughing so hard about the humor of, the guy shooting at the cans and him thinking it's because somebody hates cans and cans are just everywhere. And, that show, I feel like, really can educate somebody on what it was like at that time to be a comedy fan.
Yeah.
In a time when comedy was changing.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially for, Steve Martin, who one of his first, entertainment industry jobs was as a writer for the Smothers Brothers. And it's like the Smothers Brothers type of comedy is so different from what his personal brand of comedy was. But the Smothers Brothers brand of comedy was more, had mass appeal and was tame, and it was silly, but like it was still very easy to, understand.
The Smothers Brothers did have their reputation for pushing the envelope to a certain extent. Right.
They did, yeah.
So, in a way, it's almost like kind of all of those shows, the right vehicle for Steve Martin to
sure.
Get his chops. And I love, right. I think if that the portrayal in Freaks and Geeks really, really can bring you and show you like what this meant. And it had never been seen before. It was, it was like Monty Python a few years before it, and
now for something completely different.
Right. Exactly. And you had this revolution going on, right? And it's like you had all these different people who were doing different things in Saturday Night Live, Andy Kaufman, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Like, keep going. We're Richard Pryor is, I mean, I know, Pryor and Carlin, ventured into the, we're definitely venturing into the, political
more
and
political
social commentary.
Yeah.
But like still, man, comedy. Right. It was blowing up. And the way that this movie, one of the things I love about it is that it takes cliches. It takes a formula, classic like story of, the poor boy makes good, and everything that sending money back home every time. And it's like there's little echoes of that in like things like Hudsucker Proxy. So he's got the hitchhike to the city, which starts with a drive to the end of the fence, right?
Yeah.
He's just so and it's like you take every cliche right down to like the driver pulling up. It's like St. Louis. And it's like, okay, what would nobody else but this guy say? No, he mistakes. It's like, no, Nathan Johnson.
Yeah. Which is so good.
But then it's like he starts small, but he gets a job at the gas station. And then when Jackie Mason...
Well, I'm going to stop real quick. He starts so small that the very first time he hitchhikes... the guy can only take him next door.
Well, right. Yeah. Rob Reiner, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Rob Reiner driving the truck. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So literally he starts the smallest way you possibly can.
Oh, absolutely. But he's thrilled by the fact that he got that far on his own.
Yeah.
And right, he gets the job at first the whole thing with the motel. So like the stray dog, the cliche. And by the way, like in the, archetypical films like this, the character is like maybe 16 or something, or
right,
17, 18, which is totally how he's playing it, and which is totally how even the family's playing it. And I like the sincerity in the family scenes. It just really sets you up to know that just like, this is just who this guy is, and they love him for it. So he gets the job in the gas station. It's like, it's that scene where, the kid gets their first apartment and it's the rinky dinkiest little piece of crap in the city, but they love it. And it's a restroom and there's a dude using the urinal.
Well, it isn't the rest. It's the room past the restroom.
No. But when Jackie Mason
when he
walks
thinks
him
it is
in,
the restroom,
and he starts and he does the whole like scene that a kid does with, why? Well, this is what I'll do, and I'll make it. And it'll be grand, I tell you.
And I love when he's like, and I'll move the wall over here, and that way there's more room to do this, and there's still the urinal and
and that's another great thing about this movie is where this moron just goes into like this interior decorator talk, like he's been reading magazines or something, and like he gets feng shui.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's so I love that scene. And Jackie Mason is just standing there being like, what the hell? It's so good.
It's not even in here. It's in there.
Yeah, he's just kind of letting him talk, and then once he's finished, he's like, yeah, no. The room's actually through this door.
No, well, and that's another thing.
He's like, this is even better. I don't have to change anything.
Right. Well, and let's talk, while we're here on the trip, the Jackie Mason as Harry Hartunian. No relation to his Caddyshack 2 character, I'm sure.
I mean, no official, no canon relation.
So, but I love how he's just kind of amused by Naven, and like nothing really phases him, and he's just like, oh wow, okay, like this guy thinks he's lucky, to have a shit job and do this, but he actually he cares for him. He doesn't even get mad. We have this of course the other gas station scene where he tries to help nab the credit card thieves. Right,
which I mean, I don't love the way that this scene doesn't really hold up as much to me, just because it's, a group of Hispanic guys, and of course they're the villains or the criminals.
And they're very stereotypical. They're smoking
very
weed,
stereotypical,
and they're doing very stereotypical accents and voices. Yeah, no. This is also something. This is one of those scenes that when I watched the movie for the first time in a while, I'm just like, oh, I forgot about this scene.
Yeah,
and it always kind of like there were some there's some scenes in this movie that I feel like, in addition to the scene being offensive, it goes on a little
It
too
doesn't
long.
really move things forward.
No, it doesn't move things forward, but I love the reaction to it where Jackie Mason's like, oh, you got rid of the church. And he's like, what did I lose? A couple of tires?
Yeah.
And it's just also like no one who would act this way, who would react this way.
Yeah.
Like this. And, it's kind of Jackie Mason was the right guy for the job.
Yeah. And speaking of the right guy for the job, his next job is working at the circus. And, first as a weight guesser, and then he's kind of conducting the little train that goes around. But for Steve Martin, who got his start at amusement parks, I mean, a great homecoming, essentially.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And it's hard to dislike this. I feel like once he's with the circus, it's one of my favorite scenes, or favorite, I guess, bits, you can say, is after he meets Bernadette Peters' character. They are in his little living quarters inside of a truck. And this is just such a dumb joke, but I find it so funny. But they're surrounded by all of the like pizza in a cup stuff.
Pizza in a cup, yeah.
And they're eating pizza in a cup, and he's talking about this pizza in a cup place. And he's like, yeah, they put the other pizza in a cup place out of business. That's how I have all this stuff. And it's just like, that's so ridiculous. I don't know, the stuff that he has isn't even about the place that he's talking about. There's just 2 pizza in a cup places. I don't know. It's so dumb and weird. I love it.
Yeah, there's so much in that whole carnival sequence that is kind of fun and random. And it was one of those where when I'd watched it, so I watched the movie. I didn't get through a second viewing all the way through, but kind of watched it twice recently, but hadn't seen it in a while before that, and I had kind of forgotten about the carnival, which is
really,
aside from like forgot about his his girlfriend, the motorcycle stunt woman,
the stunt performer.
Yeah, who tattoos his name like on the list on her ass. It's like, what
ridiculous.
About my ass? I heard a rumor that Harrison Ford like is it cameos in one of the carnival scenes, that he's like
really
one of the like people, like a carpenter working at the carnival. I know. But yeah, I remember hearing about this, and I didn't catch him, but like apparently like there's one shot where he walks by Steve Martin, but
I mean, he'd already been in some movies by then.
Yeah,
some pretty big ones too.
Just a few.
Just a few,
but also it's like it's the same year he's in Apocalypse Now for like a scene. So
true.
Who knows?
But I imagine that Apocalypse Now maybe filmed that before, it's like, I don't know, because that took a long time to film. So it's possible that like I don't even know if Star Wars had come out by the time, when he had filmed. He might have filmed his stuff for Star Wars, but it might not have come out. I don't know the timeline for things.
And did you know about, and this is not a rumor, but did you know about the Bill Murray scene?
I knew, I don't remember. Didn't he play gay in it?
Like an interior decorator at his mansion.
Yeah.
And
did it get cut because it was just like it's punching down or something?
That was what I heard about it.
And he was salty about it?
Like he said something around the time the movie came out where he's like, yeah, no, it's not gonna work, like it's missing something. It's
right.
But that was kind of what I heard, was they thought better of it.
And hey, good on them.
Yeah. And I don't know that. I don't think that scene is available. It's not like, bonus on a DVD or anything. I mean, that's fine.
That's smart.
You know what? We have enough Bill Murray out there where, I think even the biggest fans of his can rest easy.
I think so too.
Seen that scene. Mm-hmm. So, speaking of that mansion, by the way,
Uh-huh.
So that was Mohammed Al-Fasi's.
Mm-hmm.
He was related by marriage to the Saudi royal family. And
Okay.
apparently, like, they didn't have to do much to the mansion,
Oh, yeah.
like the disco and all that.
There's
and,
a
like,
disco room. Yeah.
Like, apparently that was like what it was. And it burnt
what a great
down.
find.
It burnt
Amazing.
down not long after
Too
Jerk
bad,
was released.
because what a place.
Yeah. It was, quite something. I really, right. Again, this is where you really get that like social commentary and satire when he's really just stumbling into all of this wealth and fame and fortune.
250 big ones. So good.
Yeah.
Okay. Clearly we love Steve Martin. Clearly we have a lot of love and respect for the Jerk. We didn't talk at all about Bernadette Peters, who's absolutely enchanting in this movie.
Yeah.
Yes, the "Tonight You Belong to Me" bit comes out of nowhere, but it's like
Famously,
it gets away with it.
Famously, when the premiere audience got up to get popcorn.
Right, but I mean, it's one of the most remembered and beloved scenes in the movie now.
Absolutely is. Steve Martin has said it's, I think his favorite scene, one of his favorite scenes. He was,
Well, of course it is. Come
he was
on.
dating Bernadette Peters at the time, and
Yes, he was.
yep, was in a relationship with her for a few years, and
Uh-huh.
they are. I think they've got, regardless of that, they've got great chemistry. And I love them singing. It's great. I love when she pulls out the like trumpet
Coronet.
cornet. Yeah. Oh, it's so funny.
So funny.
And that's one of my favorite like gags is just like, when a random instrument comes out that you're not expecting. And Bernadette Peters plays it so well. She, like her physicality, her plays so well into so many of the gags that she really makes work.
And what I love about that scene is it's the moment when you stop wondering, what does she see in him? Because up until then, he's this doofus and she's this beautiful woman. And at that moment, you realize, oh, she's weird as hell also. And like, she's somebody who's going to just like bust out a cornet and play along with the song that they're singing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, yeah, he meets her. She's was babysitting her friend's kid, who's running around wearing a t-shirt that says bullshit on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which,
so good.
I love that.
I like how it says it on the front and the back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. Great classic, like, little kid 80s movie stuff.
Right.
So it's a really fun movie. Where else do you go from there? Of course, he comes back to his family.
Absolutely. Yeah. So before then, of course, there's the bit
even
where
if he was the color of a baboon's ass. I love that line.
That's right. That's great. So of course we know, and we can't really spoil this movie. It's been out for so long and it's so iconic, but he gets sued because of his invention has turned everybody, including director Carl Reiner, cross-eyed. And he has to personally write checks for like $1 to all of the people in the class action lawsuit. And, he has to go back and live on the streets because he's been completely depleted of funds and he's got no other options. But fortunately, he's been sending money here and there to his family back home, and they've been investing it, and they gladly welcome him. And why am I forgetting Bernadette Peters' character's name?
Oh, Marie.
Marie. Yeah, so they all live happily ever after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love, I love that Marie does end up with him because like she's ready to, she's leaving him at one point. And
Yeah.
like, so like it's rocky. And I feel like as an audience member, especially the first time I saw it, it was like, I'm not sure about her.
Right.
And, I don't know if she's good for him, but like, you get you get a nice resolution for it. And yeah, what can I say? It's a fun movie.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's not one that I would say like I could watch all of the time, but like, every few years putting it on, it's just good fun. It's not an incredibly long movie. It moves pretty quickly.
You can also just like watch your favorite scenes. It's kind of a collection.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I would like, there are definitely times where I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch the, beginning. I'm going to watch the beginning of the movie because I love the beginning of the movie. And
now, Dan, have you ever seen The Jerk 2? TOO.
Oh God, I wish I am both glad I cannot and regretful that I cannot say yes.
Yeah, Mark Blankfield as a Naven.
Yeah.
Ray Walston plays a character named Diesel. Mabel King is back as Mama Johnson.
Yeah.
Al Fan is back as Papa Johnson. But yeah, I mean, Mark Blankfield, who of course has like gone off to do a lot of really fun other work. I loved him in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh yeah, he's Blinken. Is he Blinken in that?
Blinken.
Yeah, he's Blinken.
Yeah.
Did you say Abe
Hey,
Lincoln?
Blinken. Did you say Abe Lincoln? Such a funny joke.
That's
like
a great
that movie
joke.
isn't perfect, but god damn, that joke is so funny to me.
Great jokes in Men in Tights.
I'd say maybe my favorite Dave Chappelle work. I stand by it.
I think I can get behind some Chappelle Show stuff, but otherwise,
I feel like Dave Chappelle as a person has kind of soured me on most of his work, but because in Men in Tights he's not the star, it rises to the top for me.
It's not his. Yeah, I mean, the famous white men can't jump line in the trailer.
Oh, so good. And also Mark Blankfield was on the show Fridays, the Saturday Night Live copy that brought us Michael Richards and Larry David.
Larry David was on that.
Yeah.
That was another famous Andy Kaufman incident.
I know. Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. So The Jerk 2 was 1984 movie, and I've never seen it. I've heard that it's terrible. Oh, it's on the Roku channel.
Oh, and rest in peace. March 20th, 2024. Mark Blankfield.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, all I've heard about The Jerk 2 is that it is a real stinker. And, well, I don't know.
Yeah, this is not necessarily, I mean, like as we, have kind of talked about, like, as wonderful as Steve Martin is and as great as it is that, like, this movie is kind of his, first, starring feature and what it meant for comedy at the time. It's also not something that works consistently across the board. And it's something that doesn't work without the combined efforts of Steve Martin and Carl Reiner.
Totally. Yeah.
And I would say without Steve Martin, I think you could have Martin and not Reiner for something to perhaps work, but not Reiner without Martin.
Yeah. But and before we talk too much about what we would do with The Jerk, I want to talk just very briefly. I know we're already over an hour, but what sets this movie, apart from so many other Steve Martin movies, and this is not always the case, but he played so many, I don't know, anxious and put out, dad roles and
the
things like
Parenthood
that.
Cheaper
And
by the Dozen.
exactly,
Yeah.
Father of the Bride,
Right.
even Parenthood. Even though in Parenthood he does have opportunities to, revisit some of his past stuff with the balloon animals and everything. So the Cowboy Gill.
Cowboy
And,
Gill's fucking classic.
Yeah, and so I find it really fantastic, especially growing up with that type of Steve Martin role.
Mhm.
I mean, even in Three Amigos, of the three goofy guys, he was the least goofy.
Right. Yeah.
And it's so funny because when you watch his stand-up, it's like, this is the goofiest person that there is.
Oh yeah. Well, have you seen The Man with Two Brains?
Oh, I've seen The Man with Two
Okay.
Brains, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not all of his movies by any means.
No,
Dirty
no, no.
Rotten Scoundrels. I mean, I watched that one the other day because I really just wanted to watch like a
That's a comfort
over
food.
the top.
That's a comfort food movie right there.
Yeah,
That's-
it's so delightful.
that's just
and I hadn't seen it
anytime.
I hadn't seen it in long enough that I forgot how it ended. So when the ending came, I was like so delighted by it.
Oh, it's just such a nice,
Yeah.
kind of cozy blanket of a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And also it's like, then there's of course My Blue Heaven and so many of these other movies where he does get to be like a complete goofball and an over the top character. And I love that we can see these different sides of him, at the same time when he's playing the dad in one movie, he can go to being another ridiculous person in another
Right.
movie. And
I mean, he threw that stuff. He threw those, and maybe I don't know. Does he talk in the documentary at all? Like, because he's doing like the Sergeant Bilko stuff, kind of in
Right.
the mid to late '90s. So like, you kind of wonder, like, is he doing that just because it's fun and like Dan Aykroyd and like Phil Hartman are in it, and he gets to.
I think that, I mean, they didn't talk about Sergeant Bilko, but I think that for ones like that,
That movie needs its
he
own
must have been a
documentary.
Sergeant Bilko fan and enjoyed it the same way that he
Yeah.
was probably a Pink Panther fan.
True, right?
And,
Oh yeah, I
you know-
forgot about those that he did.
Oh, he's done so many movies. It's bananas.
He's got, and you know what? Bringing Down the House, that was a big one for
Bring
him.
Down
That
the
was
House.
in his anxious,
Yep.
his
Mhm.
anxious phase.
And you know what? I'm glad that you mentioned that Dan Aykroyd is in Sergeant Bilko because I was trying to remember if they had ever been in a movie together, and I couldn't, off the top of my head, remember any. And
Right. Yeah.
I've only seen Sergeant Bilko maybe once, like on VHS or HBO or something, like a long time ago. And I totally forgot that Dan Aykroyd was in that one. But
we
yeah.
used to play it on the TVs at the video store when I worked at West
Oh,
Coast
okay.
Video
Then
in
maybe that's
Westfield,
where
New
I saw
Jersey.
it.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know, yeah, fun. I haven't seen it in a long time, but hey, I remember it being fun.
So, and also isn't Glenn Headley in that one?
In Sergeant Bilko?
Of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels?
Yeah, in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, she's in.
Right, but isn't she also in Sergeant Bilko?
Oh, you know what? You might be right about that.
I want to
Let
say that
me-
she's in that one too.
Let me see. I mean, like it's been a while. Yeah,
I
Glenn
mean,
Headley.
Yeah, there you go.
Glenn Headley's in that. Let's see while I'm looking. Anyone
She's
else?
so great.
Yeah, Pamela Adlon.
He has worked alongside so many amazing other actors and in like romantic pairings with other incredible actors. And when you go down that list and see, LA Story
I was like,
Yeah.
we cannot let the episode end without calling out LA
Roxanne.
Story, Roxanne. And these are also
Right.
scripts that he wrote. So
Yep.
they are so witty and fun.
smart.
Yeah, so smart. LA Story, I think especially, and like, not that I lived in LA in
Mhm.
the early 1990s or ever, but it felt like so true to that time and place. so LA Story. I need to go back and watch that one again. It's been a while. Rick Moranis
great.
pops up he's got a cameo in that.
He's so fantastic. Oh, and speaking of other movies where Steve Martin gets to be a goofball, Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors, yeah. I mean, goofball.
Steen Sealing, like
turns a sadistic character into a favorite.
Well, because he can be so physical and his body, like he has complete control over how ridiculous his body can be.
Oh,
and how smooth it can move while still being silly.
He's so good in it. His recording of Dentist is iconic.
The best.
It is hard to do that show without you really have to get away from that shadow of Steve Martin.
Mm-hmm.
You really do.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's get down to it.
Okay. It's been a very long time since this movie's come out. What would you do with it nowadays?
Nothing.
I knew you were going to say that.
I would. Okay, so here's my idea for any type of revival of anything from this movie is if the Thermos Company were to do a Super Bowl ad and pay Steve Martin to play Navin Johnson.
Okay.
In a Super Bowl ad for Thermos. That is what
it's the only thing he needs.
That is what right. It kind of it works, but I don't know. Bernadette Peters and Steve Martin are both, and I would love to let's put Bernadette Peters. Has she not been on Only Murders in the Building yet? Can we make that happen? Can we have her be on a season so we get a Bernadette Peters, Steve Martin reunion? I can only imagine any wounds would be healed by time at this point. They are in their 80s. Bring them together for a reunion. Let's do that. You want to bring Rob Reiner in, Carl passed, but
hey,
why not? But
next best thing, right?
But I don't want to see there's no sequel for this, and there's no let's turn it into a musical, because it is so much about the creations of Steve Martin.
Right.
So that's it. That's what I got, John.
Okay.
What say you?
Fair enough. I would want Navin R. Johnson to have his own interview podcast.
Oh.
I feel like, okay, so obviously Martin Short has Jiminy Glick, who so much of it is about his physicality and everything. So works visually. But I feel like it'd be really fun, even if it was just 6 episodes, for not Steve Martin, Navin R. Johnson,
right?
To because he could slip into doing more of the voice, but not have to worry about looking, Navin R. Johnson-y. But doing a little bit of an interview kind of a thing, and just being a kind of a half-wit, and not understanding things. I don't know, because you're right. There's no movie or TV show or anything like that that would make sense. I don't want to know about the continuing adventures of Navin Johnson. But perhaps there's a world in which, we can slip into that character and do something that has nothing really to do with him, but maybe focus on his view of other people.
Yeah, I would say an interview podcast is the only way to go.
He could take over WTF.
Why not?
You don't have to change the name.
No, it would be great. That would be that, man. Mark Maron, would you go for that?
Yeah.
Would you be? I can't imagine he wouldn't.
Yeah. I don't know. But seriously, like, there's really nothing that you can do with The Jerk. It exists so perfectly in its own world. And to anybody who, for whatever reason, maybe hasn't watched it, you got to go watch it. It is such a ridiculous piece of fun.
And it's iconic, and you have to, and again, remember the times and consider all of, what we said. Watch the episode of Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go back and watch Freaks and Geeks just in general, because it's so wonderful.
Yeah. It won't take you long. There's not that many episodes.
No. But it's really, it's a perfect season of television, and so many familiar faces that you'll see.
Yeah. Well, Dan, before you let everybody know what we're going to be doing on our next episode, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, whether you are watching on YouTube or Spotify, or if you are listening on any one of the podcast apps that we're on, which is all of them. Really appreciate it. Rate the show on Apple Podcasts. We don't have very many ratings, and that's because of all of you out there not doing it.
And I've given
really cool.
all of you 5 stars. You don't know how, why, when, and where, but it's happened. I've, gone into the data and I said, how can I get these people some, 5-star ratings? And, just know that. Just know that. You don't need to see proof of it. You feel the proof. Yeah.
And we've been doing this consistently for almost 300 episodes. So you've all had plenty of opportunities to do it.
Throw us a rating, a review, recommend us. And you know what? Hey, if we could do better, email us, let us know, send us some notes there.
If we could do worse, let us know.
Oh, absolutely.
This thing's free.
We would love to.
We don't have ads on this.
No. So, anyway, maybe we might have to start having ads after our next episode, because I think the next
about it.
I think the roof is going to be blown off of things, and this is going to be the episode that does it. So our next episode, we are talking about The Island of Dr. Moreau, specifically 1996's directed primarily by John Frankenheimer, starring David Thewlis, Marlon Brando, Val Kilmer, Fairuza Balk, Ron Perlman. Oh, goodness. Lions, tigers, and bears, kind of, sort of. Oh, my. And, I can't wait.
It's one of those movies where I'm just like, how has it taken us this long to cover it? But then I'm also just like, I can't believe we're covering this. Like, it kind of exists in both of those worlds.
It was, yes. Oh, so much to say about Island of Dr. Moreau. And if you have not seen this movie, go check it out. If you have a library card and your library offers Canopy, it is currently streaming on Canopy, and that's all you need is a library card.
I will say this. I have Canopy under 2 different library cards because I live in a place where I can be in 2 different counties' library systems. And it is, so I live in Portland, Oregon, which is Multnomah County. The Multnomah County Library does not have access to the Island of Dr. Moreau, but the Clackamas County Library System does have access to Island of Dr. Moreau. So if you do have Canopy and you aren't seeing it, maybe it's just not available for your library system.
And you're not scamming anybody by doing that. So that's why the library is awesome. Thankfully, Seattle, we have it. We have the Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah.
So check this movie out and then join us for our next episode. Because you know what? If you see this movie, you're going to want to talk about it too. You're going to want to talk to somebody else about this movie.
Absolutely. Well, Dan, as you are peeling down the road with a half of a church tied to the back of your car, I wish you a good journey.
And hey, don't forget that thermos. Good journey.